Howdy, Greg. So a pretty interesting day today. It ended up being a daily inside bar holding the 200-day moving average for the second day in the row. We're going to be watching how this inside bar breaks tomorrow. 256.84 support, 261.31 resistance. To break the daily lower highs, we have a couple bounce attempts. We topped out one time. Another lower high was here. So if this bounce attempt keeps going, we're going to have to break that 265.26 level in order to break the daily lower highs and try and see this move end up being a weekly equilibrium pattern. So the weekly equilibrium pattern we were watching a while ago was a lot tighter. And if we zoom out to what we currently have, it definitely is still fitting the criteria with the all-time high, low of consolidation, lower high, higher low, and long lower wick. Every day that goes by for the bulls, it just shifts the percentage chance a little bit more in favor of the bulls to forming an equilibrium pattern, which would have a middle ground somewhere around the upper 260s here. And we would be looking to essentially stay in this trading range for another month, potentially or more, if we get this follow through and if the daily chart continues. That can obviously change any single day. And it's really interesting what happened today on the 5-minute time frame. The bulls just complete choppy action, but V-shaped recovery. And then this is where it got really odd, where we had this 25-30-minute bull move where we essentially went almost $4 in that short amount of time. And it almost looked like it coincided with, there's been this Trump-Amazon drama where he tweets about Amazon negatively, it dumps, then it comes out that the White House says, oh, we have no plans to do anything about it, and then it runs. And this happened for a second time today. But this coincides roughly with when Amazon broke out bullish in a very similar fashion once the White House released something that there were no plans or whatever it is. I mean, it's really just exposing what a game this whole thing is. But yeah, Twitter is affecting the markets significantly. So Tesla on the daily time frame, bounce gap to fill is at 277.18. There was bullish news for Tesla pre-market, and Fidelity must have alerted me 12 different times about this news. So the market saw it. A lot of volatility in Tesla today. We started strong, we dropped all the way back down, and then we made a V-shaped recovery back to a new high of the day. So the oversold bounce is underway. There's no doubt about that. But again, in order to change the trend, I mean, we're coming from such a dump that we're going to top out and set a lower high on this bounce on the daily time frame, and we'll have to give that higher low and higher high to have confidence in continuation. Doesn't mean we can't see continuation tomorrow. It just means we can't have too high of an expectation of this bounce, considering where we are coming from. It's not going to change the trend. Weekly time frame, trying to hold this 200-week moving average again. We have the weekly lower Bollinger Band to deal with. The daily lower Bollinger Band is now support, so that's a point in favor of the bulls, but after 5 red weeks, bullish reversal candlestick off the 200-week moving average for the second time in a row. So again, it all depends on SPY. We're obviously going to have some strong correlations out there. Facebook, we had a bear break of the daily inside bar at 154.11. We dropped down. It wasn't an official inside bar by 3 pennies, but that's close enough for me to consider it. Still is. So a bear break, we dropped down significantly. Strong bounce. Again, everybody was having V-shaped moves in the market today. It is a bullish candlestick holding the lows, and a lot of tech individual names held their lows, which does, again, give a point in favor of the bulls for their potential chance to see this bounce continue. So resistance, the last bounce attempt in order to break the lower highs, 161.42 would give the bulls a higher low and a higher high on the daily, getting over these exponential resistances. The weekly time frame is forming an inside bar. It also has the daily or the weekly lower Bollinger Band to deal with, and we'll see if the bulls likely to form an inside bar this week. 3 trading days left to go, but wide range and still right in the middle of it. BKNG daily time frame also trying to break the lower highs, still struggling at these exponential resistances. The last little bounce attempt topped out at 2094. Bulls have to break that level to try and shift this trend. We've been consolidating extremely healthy on the weekly time frame for 3 weeks in a row now. A lower wick last week, lower wick currently this week, and watching for that higher low to be set on the daily. And again, names that have their weekly higher lows established, still in an uptrend like Netflix and BKNG, and there's another one I'm forgetting, Amazon still, I believe, but those are uptrends, and when the market bounces, they're going to be favorable because they're still in weekly uptrends. So Netflix on the daily, inside bar yesterday, essentially just a little bit of a lower low, and an inside bar today, so a tight range, sideways trading the last couple days. Support is 278.01, resistance 291.25, and the direction that SPY breaks its daily inside bar will likely be the direction Netflix breaks. And again, in order to break any kind of lower high pattern, 295.35 is the high of the last bounce attempt on the reversal candlestick that saw no follow through. Weekly time frame, again, higher low is almost a sure thing. Very easy for the bulls to pull off from these levels. And when the market bounces, should be positioned well to see a bullish reversal candlestick on the weekly time frame and break the lower high pattern on this consolidation. Google on the daily also held the low of yesterday. Daily inside bar, same story with SPY. Support is 997.25 and resistance is 10.25. And the break of the inside bar will dictate short-term direction. And again, there's that higher low, and the bulls are now trying to break the lower high, the last one of which was 10.48. So there are some setups here. There's some potential turnaround. Not sure what that short squeeze was on the 5-minute time frame. Wondering if Amazon's currently driving the market. We've certainly seen Apple and major tech names, due to the overall holdings in the market overall, that individual tech names can have a very significant impact. And maybe because Amazon's getting all this attention and it's run so hard after earnings, maybe Amazon right now is leading the market. Again, that's certainly what it looked like today. Don't really have another explanation for what went on that 5-minute time frame out of nowhere. And we'll see what tomorrow brings and how this inside bar breaks. Appreciate you watching. Have a good night.